test the Ventus 3E performance. Winter day here. We are super lucky that we are not in the fog, because here on the left hand side you see the fog, and also where I come from in the Donau Valley, there we have fog. And now soon I can climb more. Here on our left we see the Tech Castle. The power, the motor should align automatically. We need to take care with the speed a bit, and now we need to retract it, and it is retracting. It looks like it's not super fast, but we can measure it and I think it's fine. Battery is in. Motor is in, and we are pure glider now. Okay, so Thilo just asked if everything is good, and everything is great. We are sitting here in a really amazing 18-meter glider. We are flying the performance fuselage, so it is slightly wider than the sport fuselage, and this glider is still on a permit to fly, so it's brand new with the propulsion system and so on. So in general you need to see it's the electric version of the Ventus 3M, which is really a success story of schempp-hirth. It's an amazing glider. The feedback in the thermos is great, but also the forces on the stick are great. The maximum wing loading is less than the J3 and the 33, but for most of the weather conditions that's a very good thing. And the big advantage is in weak conditions with a higher wing area and with the propulsion system, which of course also takes some weight, especially the batteries and so on. It's yeah, a very good, say, compromise between the competition, but also for the normal cross-country flight. Let's use the flap lever. Here the flap lever is on the side down here. One thing I noticed directly at the start, it is very good to have a display which position you are at, which flap position you are in, because you can't see the indicator or the label here, and as someone who doesn't fly that glider so often, it's not perfect. But of course there's the option in the LX, and I think it's just not configured up to now. Yeah, it's a fantastic glider for the handling and so on. I don't need to say too much. Ventus 3, just a lot of fun. Oh, it's so good to be back in the air as well. The sound here in the cockpit, these normal speeds, is very good for a new glider. It's really perfect, I would say. From the stand, yeah, that's one thing which I also had with the AS33. These small windows here, they just make noise, and of course now the temperatures are cold, so it's not the standard flying day, but that can happen in a wave or in spring as well. I don't understand why the manufacturers, or even Mega Plex, who is the manufacturer of the canopy and of the system, doesn't make a proper seal here. It's just a tiny bit and it's annoying. Of course, here in the middle it's the Alex 9070. Then on the right hand side we have here one barrier indicator and probably an S10 or SX Hawk or something as a backup. Here on the left side, airspeed indicator. For all the electric gliders it's mandatory to have a fire warning. That's this one here. Then here we have the air com probably with the air control display and also the transponder installed here. That's something I really love and I'm also using in my gliders. So here in the middle down there, it's a standard, that's the new standard management system for the batteries, for the fuses and everything here at the schempp-hirth gliders. You even operate here the bug wipers from this setup. You also access here the dump valves of the water ballast. So I get here some moisture in, so we need to open the vent. And what's really amazing, we have a lot of sun, yes, but it's super cold outside. We have -2 degrees Celsius and I don't feel cold in here. And have sky boots of Tilo, so an overshoe for the normal shoes so that it is keeping my feet warm. And I'm just flying here and enjoying that very, very much. What can I say about the propulsion system? So I flew the AS33ME. I didn't fly the JS3 Rise up to now, but in comparison with the AS33ME, I would say the system is slightly more powerful, so the maximum climb rate is a bit better. The noise of the propeller, I thought it may be even better. It's hard to compare if the AS33 or the Ventus 3 is better, but they are both at a very good level. So you don't need a headset, you can still hear the radio without any problems. But of course also the vibration and the aerodynamic noise of the prop, that's just something you can't avoid completely. But it's really very, very good. The panel here, everything standard. It's a Nextel, it's not carbon fiber. I'm not sure if there's the option available, but to be honest, I saw a lot of carbon fiber and it doesn't need to be. Of course it looks cool and maybe the surface will hold up for a longer time in a good shape. But yeah, it's functional, it's looking great. On the side here, these are these nice aluminum milled and laser engraved probably handles, which are looking great. They are also very good accessible in case you need to make a bailout, which is important. What I like very much is here on the side they have this carbon fiber surface finish, which looks great. Here on the left hand side, that's the gas lever, which we will also use again very soon. Let's make here a quick stop at the tech and then we will fly back to the Hahnweide. I will make a safe landing hopefully, and then we will talk about all the specs and the numbers and everything. if you have any specific questions, write them below the video. I will try to answer them, and if there are many, we can also make a video in summer maybe to have another look to schempp-hirth and see and get some answers, or I make some more tests with the Ventus 3E performance. Up to now I'm very happy with the glider. I don't see any problems with the glider at the moment. The system works really well, no warnings, nothing. I'm quite sure that this glider is for many people, especially for the pilots who just want to have an electric propulsion system, who wants to have the independence to make a self-launch, and also to maybe have some travel by glider trips, some more adventures and so on. I don't know how good the big fuselage is for, let's say, a world gliding championship. I probably wouldn't go to Poland this year with this fuselage, but for everything else it is a fantastic glider, and I'm quite sure you have a lot of fun also with Grand Prix competitions and with national championships and so on. So it's just, at the end, not for the very high wing loading, and because of the wider fuselage, it's just a mental thing to know there exists something which has a bit of more performance in a competition. But it's an amazing machine. I love it. Most likely you know the Hahnweide competition and also the old-timer meeting here, and it's very famous. So, and I will use the runway 06. It's the short tarmac runway, because we don't want to make the glider dirty. Gear is down and locked. I don't see and hear any other traffic, so let's get to action. Let's get into downwind. Flaps are super effective. And straight. Also quite high. Flying far too fast. Not in training. Flaps a bit more negative.
Stall.
Now we have the steerable tail wheel. Perfect! Let's get out of here. But I can sit here for many more hours. Only the battery is empty. Thilo, I had an amazing flight here with this new Ventus 3E performance.
Yeah, I'm glad you had fun with our latest product of the Ventus family. This one is the one we have with a slightly larger fuselage, combined with the electrical propulsion system we have already realized in the Sport edition of the Ventus. That's the 18 meter or 15-18 meter variant of the Ventus, which last year just won, for example, the World Grand Prix.
And the year before placed second at the World Gliding Championship.
Yeah, well, because there was somebody who was a little bit better, yeah. Yeah, but no, we are quite proud here to have the this Ventus now in a self-launch variant electrically. We have a lot of experience already with electrical propulsion systems, for example with the FES, that's also available in the Ventus. However, this one is now actually a retractable system which has plenty of power for self-launching.
Let's have a closer look here at the fuselage. As you said, it's the bigger one, so it has a bit more space in here.
It's the variant we call the Performance Edition, and actually it is made for tall and also for bigger pilots to have more comfort. Also smaller pilots have a lot of comfort because you can adjust the seat in various positions, and we have a lot of luggage compartment, so it will be easy to put an additional charger for charging the batteries. But if you want to put a tent or if you want to put a sleeping bag behind the backrest, there's plenty of space. And also, as I said, in the backrest you can put all your stuff, and in this variant you can actually go for safari gliding, and this is one reason we built this glider, because I think that's the ultimate way of having fun in soaring.
That's exactly what I would say, the same. Then let's have a look here at the luggage compartment.
Yeah, I mean, you can easily put a lot of stuff behind the seat backrest, and so if you want to put a sleeping bag or your clothes or whatever, even a small tent should fit in there. And if you have a look to here where you can see now the papers, I mean, there's a big space where you can put stuff, and additional even underneath here we could put some additional smaller items. So I mean, for really taking your stuff you need for going a few days away, should be no problem with this glider here.
The big question is always, is it possible to fit in there a charger, a battery charger, because it doesn't help if you can't recharge the batteries?
That's exactly we had in our mind. So from the space it's no problem at all. Currently we are developing a special on-the-trip charger. I mean, even the normal one would barely fit in, but the one we are developing should be possible to just take wherever you want. On the other side, it is a kind of a standard charger, so also electrical propulsion systems from other manufacturers produced by Solo can be used with the same charger. So I myself flew to another airfield. There was a JS3 charger, and I could use that one for charging the battery. So at the moment, more and more electric propulsion systems will be available. So sometimes you don't even need a charger, but the glider is made with enough space to put a travel charger in the glider.
Let's have a closer look here at the actual propulsion system. So what we can see here is a quite big propeller. I think it's bigger than of the other self-launch electric glider on the market. The motor, that looks like an MRAX, probably the same as the 33.
That's right. I mean, that's the large variant of the MRAX. It has a very large propeller, as you said, especially the diameter of the propeller is larger. It actually was designed even for the small sports fuselage, just to fit in there. And of course, we have no space issues here on the performance glider, on the performance fuselage. And the large diameter of the engine, combined with the large diameter of the MRAX 228 engine, brings the whole system completely in the middle of the envelope, which just produced the best efficiency. And I think you noticed it when you took off, that it works quite okay.
What is the climb rate? I think I saw at least 4 meters, maybe even 5 meters per second with a full battery at the beginning. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning with fully charged batteries, I mean, actually the variometer is at full deflection, and even if you reduce a little bit the power, you still have an average climb of far more than 3 meters or almost 4 meters. But at the beginning, yes, I mean, sometimes you even have to take care that it doesn't detect winch launching.
Other than this, I saw here that there is a cooler in there. What does that cooler do?
It's actually the design from Solo, and they originally designed it with a water cooling system, especially for the AC/DC controller, which is located or installed in the fuselage, where you don't have so good air cooling, and therefore we have this little radiator here, which is out of the aerodynamic hurting flow, but still good enough that it gives a good cooling. And even at extreme temperatures, like for example, you realized in Uvalde in Texas with 40 degrees on the ground, you can take off with fully power without having a problem of overheating. So this water cooled system is working really good. Yeah, and as you mentioned, it has the batteries. The system has the batteries in the fuselage, which we think is a big advantage. First of all, because it's very easy to have access. If you want to charge the batteries, it's much easier to bring the batteries to the 220 volt rather than bringing the 220 volt to the glider, and also for rigging the glider, putting the wings on, with the alternative having batteries in the wings is simply making the wings extremely much heavier. So for the comfort of mounting the glider, you have an advantage. For me, one of the biggest advantages is flying at cold temperatures, because you can simply store the batteries inside in your living room or cellar, and then you can put the preheated, I mean normal room temperature batteries in the glider, and then you can take off even at very low temperatures. And if you have the glider, the batteries in the glider overnight, it is cooled so much down that you maybe at very severe low temperatures you simply can't take off, or you damage the batteries, or you reduce the lifetime of the batteries if they're used too cold. And this you can easily avoid with the batteries stored in the fuselage.
So we already saw how they are installed, but let's have a closer look on the other side. Try to be super careful.
You don't have to.
Okay, now we are here in this special groove. Again.
Push forward, that's it.
Too high. Now it is locked. Okay, should I already plug in or
Yes,
not?
put the plug in.
Okay. That's in. And that's locked. Okay, quite easy. So we see here these huge motor doors, engine doors.
Yeah, I mean they're made in the way that, of course, the whole system can be retracted fully aerodynamically in the fuselage. We can show this later. And also what you can see here is the battery compartment. Actually, this glider can be flown with 2 batteries, but like you can see here, it is equipped only with 1 battery. In case you have a very bad weather situation and you want to have a much lighter glider, you can simply take out 1 battery and reduce the wing loading. You cannot take off in this configuration anymore, but you can use it as a system to fly, to bring you back home to avoid outlandings. And the battery itself is very easy to install or take them out. I think you have demonstrated it.
How heavy is 1 battery?
Each battery weighs about 25 kilograms. That's about the weight of a cradle of beer. I think everybody is able to carry this. And then even my daughter can easily put these batteries in and out.
And what I personally find really cool is here this pylon. It's aerodynamic clean here. It's a carbon fiber part, and yeah, it looks really nice.
Yeah, we're actually quite proud about this. It was not easy. I mean, with the big power and also the big diameter of the propeller, it took us a while to make it strong enough that it works flawless. Actually, it does it quite nicely. You can actually feel the cleanness of the whole system. I myself really enjoy flying the glider with reduced power, actually flying in a kind of a mixture between a powered variant and using it as in a soaring mode. So aerodynamically it is so clean that you hardly feel any turbulences on the tail, and so you can feel the thermals or the upcurrents in a much nicer way, for example, compared to a classical propulsion system with a combustion engine where you have this big radiator and a big pylon which actually produce a lot of drag.
So that's also a safety feature. If something goes wrong here, the glider won't have like 3 or 5 meters per second descent rate. It's a bit less. So I think
that's right. Also combined with high aspect ratio of the propeller, as you can see, and as you said, the nice aerodynamic shape shape of only one pilot. Other gliders sometimes have two pilots, which of course also produces more drag. So I think it's quite a neat construction.
How high can you climb, or how far can you fly with one battery charge?
I mean, our goal was to have a regular climb to about 600 meters and then still have approximately 100 kilometers of distance to travel back home. And I think with this system we can easily achieve this. I mean, we have done tests where we almost reached 2,500 meters with the system, also in the combination that the glider itself is fairly light. It has an empty weight of only about 400 kilograms and a very low wing loading for an electric system. So this gives you for me quite impressive climb heights, which always gives you enough possibilities to fly normally, even if you back home. In the very worst case, always enough to reach the next airfield in a safe manner.
And one more thing here at the tail of the glider. We see here that's a steerable tail wheel. It's not retractable, but especially for the travel by glider trips and so on, it's really cool to taxi. I also did that today. I really like that. Of course, for the drag or for the head, let's say for the head, it would be better to have a retractable and steerable version. But overall, it looks quite clean here. Also aerodynamically okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is a variant we have used already in the Arcus and also in the other versions of the Ventus. Even in the sports fuselage, we now offer this steerable tail wheel. It simply gives you the possibility to taxi to the runway or to leave the runway after landing, to escape the runway, and it just gives you additional freedom and possibility in case you're alone on the airfield. And as I always say, the best flight is the one you make, and if you simply don't have a helper, you can easily taxi and just have fun. And this is just a tool which helps you aerodynamically, I think, quite nicely integrated in the rudder, but also with enough clearance. It is a very robust variant. So even we just pushed the glider through this big dent here, it was no problem. So even on a rough airfield, you can use this tail wheel and you don't have to fear any damages.
What's super unique here at the Ventus and also the Arcus is the shape of the wings. Why do you have this nice, super good looking shape, and what does it actually do when you fly? Does it give more feedback, or is it just super sexy? Or
Well, it is not just a feature, and it is actually working aerodynamically quite nicely. This is, I mean, starting with the winglet here, that's a third generation marmor winglet, also with a swept back leading edge, which integrates in the whole system of the glider. As you can see here, the sweep of the leading edge in combination with the multi-dihedral, this gives you an aerodynamical advantage both at low speeds and at high speeds. Just it reduces the induced drag and also increases, as you just mentioned, the flight abilities or the flight conditions. Just the handling is extremely nice. It flies very stable on the one side, but on the other side also extremely maneuverable. We have, as you can see here, flaperons which go over a complete wingspan, 18 meter of flaperons, which have also quite large depth. So you have really efficient ailerons. So the roll rate, I'm sure you're experienced.
I tested today and have some videos about that.
Yeah, and also if you have slightly larger moving part, I mean the flaperons, you also have a better feeling. So if you are flying under the cloud straight and you want to optimize the track, just always finding the lifting line, I mean just the feedback you receive both from the wing geometry of the wing in combination with the large flaperons. This gives you always often a big advantage if you fly, if you just try to follow the optimum line. And it's quite a lot of fun, and many people think it also looks nice. And my father always said, what is nice for the eye is also nice for the air. Yeah,
that's true. And the mental part is always super important also while gliding. Let's quickly have a look how to extend and retract the motor system here on the ground. To extend and use the motor system, first of all, of course, you need to have the DCU on. So you have here a main switch for the power plant. You switch that on, and then you have here this small switch which you need to put up. And then, was it long enough? Yeah, we only have one battery in there, so that's fine. And then it extends. And then at the end, have a close look here at the motor doors. They will go in again so that they are aerodynamically as clean as possible, but you still have just one motor door. The next step would be here to apply power. Here you have the power control just on the side, which is great. And it's not just this potty.
So you just use it, and then you will hear the engine starting. And if you put it back on, it stops immediately and brings the propeller in the vertical position. Yeah.
I really think the electric philosophy just fits perfectly to gliding. It's so much fun, and also the range. A lot of people say that 100 kilometers of range is not enough, but to be honest, I think when I flew club class, I made an outlanding during the day 200 kilometers far away, but there you just need a few more meters to get into the next thermal, so you don't need a huge range. And if you mess something up at the end of the day, if you are further away than 100 kilometers, then that's really a lot.
Then you made a big mistake anyway.
And then worst case, the once in a few years, if that happens, then at least you get to the next airfield, and then you get an aero tow back home or recharge there and then fly back home. So I think with this energy we have now, and with the propulsion system and so on, it works great. It's easier to handle, it's easier to start to use the motor system. It's most likely also safer, and it's a fantastic.
And as you said, it just fits perfectly to our way of flying. I mean, flying in the most efficient way, and as you said, aerodynamically, it's very clean. It works nicely, and actually, it's a lot of fun. Even flying with the engine on, and I think that's a big difference to the older systems where you desperately wanted to stop the engine as quick as possible to enjoy soaring. But even with the engine on, you can combine the electrical flying and the soaring, and I think this is a completely new feature of flying electrical gliders.
Okay, it was a great day here. Thank you so much, and we will make one more video. So make sure to subscribe, like the video, and then we will see you in the next one. Cheers!
Always fun with you.